The Camorra unleashed terror. The Sicilian Mafia rattled the world. But one mafia seized control without the knowledge of the world. Enduring in secret and prioritizing secrecy, this mafia has not only managed to evade public scrutiny for over a century, but is dominating the dark underworld as well. And today, we'll be delving into the insides of the most dangerous city in Italy, run by the most powerful mafia the world has ever witnessed. This is the story of the NDRANGHETA, nestled within the rural area of Calabria. The Inception. Well, the Cosa Nostra, also known as the Sicilian Mafia, and the Camorra from Naples dominated Italy and the international field since the 19th century. The NDRANGHETA brewed secretly in the city of Calabria. According to the NDRANGHETA legend, the criminal organization was founded in the 16th century when the Spanish knights who arrived in Italy founded the honored societies known as the Sicilian Mafia, the Neapolitan Camorra, and the Calabrian NDRANGHETA. Although founded around the same time as the Sicilian Mafia, the NDRANGHETA had a loose hierarchical structure and wasn't as organized as the other Italian mafias. However, following World War II and the significant part the Sicilian Mafia played in it, the NDRANGHETA decided to work on their hierarchical structure and tighten up their loose ends. If you made it this far, how about you consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video? It really helps us out and allows us to keep bringing you high-quality content about the Mafia world. Thanks, we appreciate you. Pecking Order, the internal reconstruction of the Calabrian Mafia, gave birth to two layers. The first and the main layer is the crimine, also known as La Provincia, which is the highest governing body and holds supreme authority. At the head of this body is the capo crimine, who is supported by his second-in-command, the Mastro di Genera. Beneath them are key figures like the colonels, who include such roles as the Mastro Generale, General Master, Capo Società, Head of Society, and the Contabile, Accountant. Just below the crimine is the second layer of the NDRANGHETA, which is made up of 3 mandamenti that represent different districts in Calabria. Then under each mandamento are ndrine, which are family-based clans that form the core of the organization. And each ndrina is responsible for controlling its own specific territory. Although the size of these territories can vary, it's quite rare for a clan to have fewer than 50 members. The ndrine at the lower part of the hierarchy is still further divided into 2 main divisions: the Società Minore, meaning minor society, and the Società Maggiore, meaning major society. As the name suggests, the Società Minore is an entry level, and at the very bottom are the Picciato Liscio, or smooth young men. After at least 6 months of service and participation in a ritual ceremony, these members can then advance to the rank of Picciato Garo, or cheating young men. After reaching the Picciato Garo rank, members have the opportunity to take on various roles within the Società Minore. Some of these roles include the Capo Giovane, who enforce the orders from the Società Maggiore. Meanwhile, the structure of the Società Maggiore is quite similar to the crimine, the organization's supreme council. The highest position within this group is the Capo Bastone, who acts as the head of command. As the members move up from the Società Minore to the Società Maggiore, they can progress through various ranks, starting as a Sancista, then moving up to Vangelo, Trequartino, and Quintino. With each rank coming with more influence and responsibility, members eventually reach potential leadership roles which are determined in annual elections. Unlike the Sicilian Mafia and the Camorra, the NDRANGHETA prioritizes replicating this exact hierarchical structure outside Calabria. Hence, rather than fight for control in a foreign land, they establish themselves super fast with a preset structure and start their first item on the agenda. Not waiting for opportunities to infiltrate the system in a foreign country that might not show up in years, the Calabrian Mafia acts fast to weaken the local economic and administrative systems in an effort to have long-term control. However, all these are impossible without the highest and most supreme code of conduct. Membership rituals and codes. Unlike the Sicilian Mafia and the Camorra, not much is known about the 'Ndrangheta, and there's a good reason for this. The Calabrian Mafia does not have any traitors who rat out their organization to law enforcement agencies in exchange for their necks. With about 1,000 mafiosos betraying the Sicilian Mafia and about 2,000 betraying the Camorra, only 42 mafiosos have crossed the 'Ndrangheta because of their supreme code of silence, which is known as omerta. And because of this tight code, it is also pretty hard to know the true size of their organization. It is not known and can only be roughly estimated as about 5,000 to 10,000 members worldwide. With a strict code of silence enforced amongst its members, it's no surprise that family ties form the basis of membership of the 'Ndrangheta. Family bonds and loyalty are prioritized so high that any little betrayal is dealt with in the harshest of ways. Therefore, before becoming a member of the Calabrian Mafia, one must be chosen based on family connections and demonstrated loyalty. After a trusted member introduces the candidate to the higher-ranking mafiosos and vouches for their character and potential, the candidate must prove their commitment by carrying out various criminal activities, and this not only serves as a test, but as an initiation into their world. If the candidate passes these tests, they participate in a secretive induction ceremony. Here, they take an oath of loyalty by swearing on the Bible and pledge to uphold the organization's code of secrecy regarding all aspects of the organization's operations and activities. Major families and names. Upholding the code of secrecy, not much is known about the clan families, and a glimpse was only seen during the First and Second 'Ndrangheta Wars, when the families were involved in a huge clash over alliances. In bloody wars that claimed about 1,000 people, the main families involved were the Di Stefano Endrina, the Condello Endrina, the Amerte Endrina, and the Piromale Endrina. Although not fully integrated into the 'Ndrangheta, infamous names associated with the Mafia include Calabrian descent Vito Genovese, who headed the Genovese family of the Sicilian Mafia 5 families, Calabrian born Ciro Perone, Umberto Albert Anastasia, who was one of the most feared American Mafia, Calabrian descent Francesco Frank Coppola, Tony Mira, Calabrian-born Frank Costello, a close friend of Lucky Luciano, Sicilian Mafia godfather and fierce mafioso who's been linked multiple times to John F. Kennedy. Operations. Until 1975, the 'Ndrangheta primarily operated within Calabria, focusing on extortion and blackmail. However, their involvement in cigarette smuggling expanded their reach and established connections with other Italian crime syndicates, such as the Sicilian Mafia and the Neapolitan Camorra. With the arrival of large public works projects in Calabria, skimming money from public contracts became a lucrative source of income for the 'Ndrangheta. Therefore, disputes over the distribution of these profits sparked the First 'Ndrangheta War, 1974 to 1977, which resulted in the deaths of 233 people. During this period, some factions began kidnapping wealthy individuals from northern Italy for ransom, with about 200 abductions affiliated to the 'Ndrangheta. One of the most notable cases was the 1973 abduction of John Paul Getty III, the grandson of the oil tycoon J. Paul Getty Sr. Initially, the Getty patriarch refused to pay the ransom, famously saying, "I have 14 other grandchildren, and if I pay 1 penny now, I'll have 14 kidnapped grandchildren." However, when the Mafia sent him his grandson's severed ear to a newspaper in Rome, he agreed to pay the sum of about $2.5 million, which was dropped off in bags along a roadside in the Calabrian countryside. With a loose hierarchical structure, the Second 'Ndrangheta War, 1985 to 1991, soon broke out. This brutal conflict involved a bloody power struggle between two factions, the Condello Amerte Seriano Rosmini clans and the Di Stefano Tagano Labrie Letella clans, and claimed more than 600 lives. Therefore, the more organized Sicilian Mafia intervened to help bring an end to the conflict and likely played a role in establishing a higher governing body called La Provincia or Crimine to prevent future fighting. With the establishment of a hierarchical structure, the 'Ndrangheta spread their tentacles across the globe. The 'Ndrangheta activities now span a wide range of illegal enterprises. They're involved in embezzling public funds, rigging contracts, and committing various types of fraud, often targeting EU subsidies and exploiting tax exemptions on cross-border sales. The Mafia is also heavily engaged in extortion, gambling, and human and weapons trafficking, which includes the illegal management of refuge facilities. They also commit environmental crimes such as toxic waste dumping and run sophisticated corruption schemes at high levels. The scale of their operations is so vast that prosecutors and Mafia experts are sounding alarms about the 'Ndrangheta's ability to profit even during crises like the COVID-19 pandemic. They've been skimming funds from public health initiatives in Calabria and engaging in loan sharking to exploit struggling businesses throughout Italy. And when it comes to drug trafficking, the 'Ndrangheta's control over the Italian port of Gioia Tauro gives them a strategic advantage. The port serves as a gateway for some of the most lucrative drug routes connecting Europe and the Americas. The intense persecution of the Sicilian Mafia gave the 'Ndrangheta leverage to emerge as not only Italy's most powerful crime syndicate, but the world's most powerful mafia. Since the 1980s, the group has amassed vast wealth through its dominance of the European drug trade, and by 2018, they had grown to control about 80% of all cocaine entering Europe from South America. With their stronghold over the drug and arms trade, their profit has skyrocketed, making them one of the richest mafia as well. In 2008, their annual turnover was about $44 billion, making up approximately 3% of Italy's GDP. They maintained this figure in 2013, and by 2021, the 'Ndrangheta's estimated net worth has skyrocketed to around $72 billion. Over the years, the 'Ndrangheta has extended its criminal networks far beyond Italy, establishing a presence across Europe, the United States, Canada, Latin America, and Australia. And while the Sicilian Mafia and the Camorra have been persecuted under public scrutiny for decades, the 'Ndrangheta continues to flourish in secret. Why do you think the 'Ndrangheta became more powerful than their fellow Italian mafia groups? Let us know in the comments below. And for more dark stories of the underworld, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell to never miss an update.